yourself comfortable.
Okay.
Sit down.
Right here?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Thank you.
So can I get you anything? A glass of water or tea?
Water would be great.
All right, great, thanks.
Thank you.
Isn't that? Okay, so are you comfortable?
I am. This is very comfortable. Thank
Good.
you.
Well, thanks for coming in today and thanks for being on time. So did you find the building okay?
I did. It was not a problem.
Good.
My GPS got me right here.
Perfect.
So.
Yeah, sometimes this area gets a little bit congested with traffic.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate the fact that you're timely and we can get started and give you the
Yeah.
full benefit of your hour to 2 hours actually.
Thank you.
So I was reviewing your assessment form
Mhm.
and I know it's very lengthy. I appreciate your time
Thank
with that.
you.
Sometimes it gets a little bit too much. But this way I can kind of review all
Mhm.
the issues that you put down.
Okay.
And if you just wanted to give me an idea of what's been bothering you, how you've been feeling, what your goals are, your issues.
Okay. Well, I guess it's been about a year and a half ago, I started having a sore throat.
Oh,
Excuse me.
okay.
And it lasted for a couple of weeks before I finally thought, really need to go see what's going on with my throat. So I went to my regular doctor and they weren't really sure. I came up negative for strep,
Okay.
which is the initial thought. And so I went to an ear, nose, and throat doctor. And they did a scope and diagnosed me with GERD.
GERD, okay.
Gastro, and I'm sure you
Yeah.
know what it stands for. And anyway, so I've been, so I went on a diet of no citrus spices, no caffeine, cut out a bunch of things, and then spent the last year kind of reintroducing things to try to manage the GERD so that it wouldn't bother me so
Okay.
much. And discovered that really I'm okay with a lot of things. It's mostly spicy foods. So
Spicy
I can have
foods, okay.
citrus and things like that.
Okay.
Then this year,
Wow.
I started having some problems around August. Early morning, waking up with just breakout sweats.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
a lot of pain in the abdomen area, and then going to the bathroom
So
several times.
diarrhea or
Yes,
just more
diarrhea.
frequent
It was
bowel
diarrhea.
movements? Okay.
So and that would go on in the mornings, and it would just be over with.
Okay.
And I didn't pay much attention to it, I guess, for a couple weeks again,
Okay.
ignoring the signs, which is not really smart, but sometimes, I guess, with our busy lives. Actually, when the symptoms started, I was on a trip.
Oh, okay.
And when I came home, school started, I'm a teacher, and I just kind of went back into my role. And I guess about 4 weeks into the school year, my body said, hey, there's something wrong, stop and pay attention to me.
Mhm.
So that's when I went to the doctor, because I started really having, the sleepless nights were getting worse as far as getting up and having more breakout sweats, maybe 2 or 3 episodes a night, cramping, going to the bathroom for diarrhea times.
Okay.
And then,
So
I went to
the GERD, the throat, then a lapse of time,
Yeah,
and your stomach started a little bit more frequent bowel movements, looser bowels, and you started to change your diet a little bit after that, cutting out, eliminating.
I had started doing a food elimination diet with the GERD, and then this particular time, it took a couple weeks before the doctors, I went to my regular doctor, and they started, well, first they did, I thought it was maybe a kidney stone. I had had a kidney stone a couple years before, and I told her, I said, it feels just like that, only minus the nausea.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah.
so she thought, well, we'll do an ultrasound, but it could be a parasite. I had done a lot of traveling this
Oh,
summer,
okay,
so she
that's
thought
right.
that way.
Uh-huh.
And then we also thought that maybe diverticulitis flare-up, or diverticulosis
Oh,
flare-up. A year ago, when I had my first colonoscopy, I was told
Oh,
to be aware of, you know, the fact that I do have a mild case of diverticulosis, which I didn't mention that. So,
GERD, upset stomach,
mhm.
and then possibly diverticulosis. So more
Right.
or less 3. And of those 3, which currently would you say is the most important? If you had to prioritize them, How would you do that?
Right. Well, right now, I'm just coming off the symptoms of my most recent episodes with the sweating and that kind of thing. So,
Okay. That's right.
which were leading up to that. So I went to the doctor like 4 weeks into the school year, and they were not able to come up with a diagnosis. I recently went to my gastroenterologist, and he put me on a food elimination diet again. So he's got me on a milk-free diet right now.
Oh, okay.
And I started that 3 weeks ago, and I will see him tomorrow, actually, to find out. We're going to regroup, talk about how it's been being milk-free for 3 weeks.
Okay, so if I'm hearing correctly, I'm hearing the GERD is more or less resolving with some changes in diet. The sweats are beginning to subside.
Correct.
And then you're waiting for an evaluation with the doctor.
Right.
Okay. So if you were to think about a time when you felt the best, the best health, when would that have been? Would that have been a while ago,
Well,
a couple years ago, or?
You know, that's funny you ask that question, because sometimes I had somebody say something to me the other day. I didn't know I was feeling bad until I went to the doctor and they healed me of what was aching. I didn't know I was feeling bad, so I think I feel just fine most of the time until something really, really hurts.
Right.
I would say I've felt great most of my life. I've been a very healthy person. In fact, the doctors have always, when we're filling out forms, I really check off. I feel so fortunate to not have to check off a whole lot of things,
Terrific, yeah.
I don't even like saying it out loud because I'm afraid,
Oh, wow.
you're always nervous, but, so I've had really good health, and I just want to really monitor it and keep it. So when things happen, I do get nervous, and
Right.
now with this whole eating thing, one of my concerns is learning how to manage my diet and keep all my nutritional value going in without using a lot. I don't really want to be on supplements. I want to be on
Right,
whole
whole
foods.
food. And that's a very good point, because the way in
So-
which my approach to nutritional counseling is to have an integrative,
Okay.
therapeutic approach and functional approach.
Okay.
So it's a mix. And I'll be working with as many therapies and many modalities as possible
Okay.
to find what works for you.
Oh, great.
Okay, so it won't be just a cookie cutter approach. And then we'll be working functionally, which means that we may be doing some assessments. And there may be some, biomarkers, they're called, maybe some blood work, the measurement on the blood, maybe some, the waist circumference
Okay.
measurement. Just those are two tools for an examples for you to consider.
Okay.
Nothing to be intimidated by, just really pretty basic. And if we could get those to me as well, unless they're on your form.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, and so if you were to consider a time, if you thought about in the past, like, was there anything that may have triggered the GERD, an event, an emotional upset, anything like that? And
I don't think so. I don't know of anything that would trigger GERD. I mean, when I've asked what causes it, it's basically, I guess, there's a little flap at the
Yeah.
back of your or the top of your esophagus, or something,
there's
but
a flap, that's right.
sometimes doesn't want to close.
That's right.
So I don't know what
Okay.
event would cause that.
Right.
So.
I guess what I'm thinking more along the lines of nutritionally,
Um,
like what may have changed your diet, like was there an event or something in your life, a phase, but we can go back to that.
Okay.
And then now that it's resolving,
Sure.
can you think of anything that might trigger a reaction? So for example, if this resolved in the throat area,
Oh,
but
sure.
then your stomach, your lower GI tract started. So they're thinking that it may be lactose intolerance, but again, were there other things that were happening? Was it an event, a special occasion?
Yeah.
Did you just,
I
overdo a
see.
certain food product or something at a certain time? But we can review those.
Okay.
But if you can consider
Okay.
some possibilities for that. So we looked at the issues, we prioritized the issues a little bit,
Okay.
and your goals, if I understand, are to improve your diet, maintain your health through diet and nutrition,
Right.
and to hopefully use as many therapies as possible that I can suggest that will work for you.
Right.
Okay, good. So do you have any questions at all or anything to discuss around those topics right now?
No, that gives me a lot to think about right now, and I'll get those measurements and things together for you by the time we meet again.
Let's just stop it there. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you about is setting up a schedule.
Okay.
And when we have our appointments, it's really important for you to feel comfortable, coming in and having a safe space and a comfortable space to talk to me and exchange ideas, and also the therapeutic part. So you can feel free to email me when you need to.
Okay,
I'm
thank you.
fine with emails.
All right.
However, telephone calls, usually I'll accept those if it's an emergency.
Okay.
And if you have to cancel, please make sure that it's 24-hour notice as much as you can.
I understand.
There are a lot of clients who are interested in coming in, so
Okay.
this way we can get somebody in, hopefully.
I'm sure.
Will that work for you?
Yeah.
Okay,
That sounds
good.
great. Thank you.
Sounds great.
I
Okay.
appreciate that.
So we'll spend the rest of our time going through your forms and discussing what you've been eating, what might be causing a problem for you, and any other factors in your background and family history as well. Will that work for you?
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Sounds good. Okay,
Thanks.
great. Thanks, Cynthia.
Thank you.